Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Benjamin Wang. In 2012, I was a physician in training taking care of ICU patients when a 19-year-old young postpartum woman ended up on a breathing machine. After a few days, she came down with an antibiotic-resistant pneumonia and passed away, and I dreaded speaking with the family. However, it was a turning point for me, and I decided to quit my training to do something. I founded a company. You see, COVID-19 is showing the world the same thing I saw in my training, that being put on a ventilator, though necessary, is extremely dangerous. But the problem isn't the breathing machine. It's the breathing tube. This came from an actual COVID-19 patient, and you see that gray stuff inside the tube? That's why 30% of these patients are getting bacterial pneumonias and dying. Each case wastes enormous amounts of resources. It wastes nursing care, respiratory care, anesthetics, antibiotics, medications, capital equipment, beds, doctors, and costs hospitals $43,000 to treat. 97% of patients who get a bacterial pneumonia with COVID-19 die. And 1 in 10 healthcare workers involved will contract the virus. We've created a better breathing tube, and we're solving this problem because our breathing tube suctions out the bacteria before it reaches the lungs. And this blue suction appendage connects to a channel leading to a vacuum, which allows our suctioning to remove more than 10 times the bacteria and fluid that other breathing tubes do. It's CE marked, it's FDA cleared, it's patented, it's being manufactured at scale. It's profitable, and there are over 4,000 of these devices headed to the UK as we speak. So they'll be readily available should doctors in France decide they want to try and use this device. Plus, we have a way to use the device in a way that it protects clinicians while they're putting the tube in. The pandemic continues to disproportionately impact vulnerable and indigenous people. And since March, we've donated over 15,000 devices in rural Latin American hospitals because conserving resources here has the biggest impact. Our work has also inspired other companies to donate to this cause. It's taken us 5 years to get here, but we are now at a tipping point. So we're really looking for people to open their minds to look at this from a mechanical problem, because there are over 200 million people per year that use breathing tubes. But ours represents an advancement that can save lives, reduce costs, save resources, and basically create a brighter future for all of humanity. So I hope you'll listen to this and let your doctors know in France that there is something better. The device will be available through P3 Medical, and we are NEVAP. Thank you.
Thank you, Benjamin. That was awesome. So we're gonna go back to the double screen. Okay, here we are. You did a good job. I understood. So you add that little device to the actual breathing device, and it will suck up all the dirty material that's in the walls of the pipe of the respirator tube.
Yes. So, it's actually the entire breathing tube because you need a special breathing tube to accommodate it. So
you sell also the tube? Okay.
We sell the tube. This is already integrated. There's no additional training. All you have to do is put it in, turn it on. That's all you have to do.
Okay, so you sell the tube with the blue device in it, and is it a very expensive device?
No, it's not. It costs. The device here in the United States costs about $25.
Okay. It's reasonable.
In France, it's going to be more like 15 euros, 12 euros. So it's not an expensive device. But what we do know is the antibiotics themselves, the IV antibiotics that are used to treat the infections, um, are in the hundreds, if not thousands of euros per day.
Oh,
So
really?
yes, so these devices are basically a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, I'm sure. Do you know if it is, did you say South America is using it now?
The United States, the United Kingdom, couple Latin American countries. It's even used in one hospital in Taiwan. So at this point, we've used tens, if not tens of thousands of these devices.
So they must have seen a decrease in the number of fatalities and death, right?
Yes and no, because Latin America is inundated.
Oh,
Um,
too many
we
cases?
we can't tell because people are dying in the waiting rooms.
No,
Yes,
it's
yes.
that bad. Brazil is
Yeah,
bad, I heard.
it's very, very bad. And while it's a lot
Because
better
they
in,
live in close and environments.
there are too many infections and they don't have enough equipment. We know that the device saves lives when the patient can be put on a ventilator and all that good stuff when they have medical care, but a lot of these patients don't even have medical care. We can only do what we're only a piece of this problem. But in France, there are a lot of doctors, there are a lot of hospitals, there are a lot of ventilators. Nobody should be putting in a cheap breathing tube and having these patients die because of a cheap breathing tube.
That's true. Have you tried to outreach to them, or you need me to translate, interpret? But
Please, yeah,
no, I mean you
yeah,
need an interpreter, maybe.
yeah. We need a French company that or a French hospital or doctors that will get the device from P3 Medical because they will sell the device to France. It's readily available. The doctors that just don't know about it yet.
Okay, it's called P True Medical.
P3 Medical.
P3, like number
Yes,
three.
yes,
That's the
yes.
name of your company.
No, that's the name of the distributor in the UK.
Okay, so P3 distribute your device. And what is the name of your device again?
The name of our device is the Aspire Subglottic Suction Endotracheal Tube.
It's very complicated name. Don't you have a shortened version, like maybe just
Just maybe the Aspire breathing tube. Aspire,
Aspire?
Aspire. Yes.
Okay, Aspire breathing tube.
Yeah.
And this has been out in the market since when?
Since 2019, late 2019.
Okay, so it was before the lockdown for the virus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so you were ahead of your time when you invented it?
Well, I mean, you have to remember this is CE marked, FDA cleared. The FDA clearance itself takes a year. The
So it
development
was
all
invented in 2018?
no. It was invented in 2016. It took us 2 years to test, qualify, validate, get FDA CE mark clearance, and then become commercially viable.
Just on time for the COVID?
It happens to be just on time, but I mean the development of this device, we're talking about years in the past,
Oh, really, really? So you
before the
were like,
pandemic,
you had an
long
inspiration
before.
to do it. You were inspired to do it because you knew something
No,
big was coming up. It's like a vision.
no, I did. I knew people were dying in the ICU from this problem anyway, and I
Oh,
said,
no matter what. No,
yep,
oh,
no matter what, because whenever a person gets a breathing tube, their risk of pneumonia increases 600 to 2,000%. So I knew, and all the doctors know, that putting a breathing tube into a patient is dangerous. It
they
increases your
know,
risk.
they already know.
They know, but here's the thing: as a doctor, you know 20,000 things every day, and you deal with 10,000 of them, and the ones that you can't solve, you just have to accept, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So they know, but they don't tell the families. Okay.
There's nothing we can do until
Okay.
now. So what, you know what I mean? If my patient, if I tell them you have diabetes,
Yeah.
you need to not eat the cupcake, and they go home and eat the cupcake, what do I say? I can't do anything about it. All I can do is tell them, hey, you shouldn't eat the cupcake. Next time you come in, don't eat the cupcake.
No,
This is
but
one of those,
there's a
this is
better
the one of,
solution. There's a better solution. You have to eat for 2 months just raw food. That's, I heard it will cure
that's
diabetes.
that's very hard. That's
People
even
want to
harder.
cook. They want to cook. Yeah. Yeah.
But
They want.
that's where innovation can make a big difference. Is we don't have to accept that there's nothing we can do. Sometimes we can change that. We can
Oh,
change the dynamic.
how many can you manufacture per day or per week?
We can make 3,000 per day.
Oh, are they done in China or here?
They're done in Taiwan,
Oh, they're done in Taiwan. Okay.
so
And
they
then
can be
shipped,
rapidly.
and then they are shipped to all the countries.
Yes,
Do you control the quality of these too before you ship them?
yes,
Or you do control?
yeah. We have two quality assurance people on the ground in Taiwan at the
Oh,
factory,
okay.
watching, auditing the entire production.
Okay. So that's reassuring. Yeah. I mean, because
And
I heard some horror stories about the mask manufacturers. They are like in sweatshops, and then the masks are on the floor, and then they ship them. So
yeah,
there is
that's
no quality control in these manufacturing companies.
well, that's the difference between a class 2 device and a class 1 device. A class 1 device,
Yeah.
all they have to do is register. This is considered a class 2 device. So it has a lot more scrutiny and a
Okay.
lot more testing. If you wanted to create a class 1 device,
Yeah.
you could almost register it and sell it the next day. But a class 2 device,
Yeah.
you have to prove that it's safe beyond a reasonable doubt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, but the control of manufacturing is also supervised. Yeah.
And remember, if we have problems with this device, the FDA comes in and says, nope, you have to recall. So we have not, knock on wood, we're not having any issues there.
Oh, thank God. Yes, thank God. So you're
But
saving lives every day now,
absolutely, absolutely.
mostly in the UK and South America.
We save a lot of lives in South America because I personally know that every device we deploy there gets used in a rural, very resource constrained area where if they didn't have it, they'd have nothing else.
So you have
So
companies like big corporations funding it because they
no,
don't have, no,
no.
but they don't, some areas in South America, they don't have that much money.
Yeah, we have some that are donated.
Oh, okay.
We have some that we sell at a supreme discount of 80% discount. and we
So
have a non and we have a nonprofit that ships it for free and basically donates it to some of these hospitals that can't afford
nice. And did you appeal to Bill Gates because he loves everything that's medical,
it. He loves everything that is
saving
medical that he
lives?
likes.
He likes to save lives. Maybe he's really close to you. He's in Seattle, but I'm sure he'll be interested to look into that. I mean, he has a foundation where he gives away a lot. I don't know how much he gives, but I know
Yeah,
it's,
you be,
yeah, you did. Yeah, I hope he helps you.
no, I
He,
don't think he'll ever help
okay.
me. Yeah,
Well, I'm sure there are other foundations that will in that case. I mean, because to me, even if I'm not in the medical field, I can see it's obviously a device that can help save lives. I mean, by what you showed me on the screen there,
yeah,
it's amazing. So you do this full time now since there's such a great need for it.
absolutely. I'm up at all hours a day because I have distributors in Latin America, but also in the UK. They're on a different time schedule. So and then my manufacturer is in Taiwan. Taiwan is a very different country than say Malaysia or China or
Yeah.
Indonesia, because it's number one, it's a fairly well-heeled and well-established democracy. They have a minimum wage. Um, they have workers' rights. They have intellectual property laws that are respected. So I know when
So,
people hear, "Oh, you're building in Asia," they get an image, and that's not the image that our activities are generating.
oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
So things, you understand their language, you understand English. I don't know if you understand the Spanish, but I'm sure you communicate well with all three continents.
Yes, yes. And my wife actually speaks French. So
Oh, so she's your interpreter. Okay. Well,
I'd
if you
like
need,
to
there
I'd
is
like to share.
there's a hospital in Canada, I think Toronto, that's saving a lot of COVID-19 lives. It's a Jewish hospital using the hydrochloroquine. You,
Hmm,
they're very open to new things, so you might want to contact them. Uh,
okay.
I saw them online that they are using the hydrochloroquine. If you Google it, you'll find them. But
Now 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 there is a large European study that basically shows hydroxychloroquine does not help benefit patients with COVID-19.
it helps before it gets bad. It helps before it gets to the ventilator stage. Like if you catch it early and you have like the flu, it will help. I mean, that's what doctors in France are prescribing if they feel it will help the patient. I'm not sure how they make that decision.
I'm not sure either. I'm not sure. If I can share the screen one more time.
Yeah, I mean
I
that doctor in Texas, she used three medicines. She used the hydrochloroquine and another three medicine, and it worked. It's in combination with the hydrochloroquine. But since I'm not the doctor, I cannot comment scientifically on that. But I know some doctors have been successful using a combination of these three medicine. So it's not just all by itself. It's not hydrochloroquine by itself. It's combined with two more. And I cannot pronounce the other two. But anyway, you want to share something?
Yeah, I'm going to share the screen now. And can you see the demonstration?
Yeah, I do. I do.
So these are two breathing tubes. The one on the left is what they're using right now, and that green fluid is basically a simulated saliva. And if I scroll down just a little, this is what's happening. I'm adding a small amount of the green fluid. It's very thick. But what's happening is, you see, the other tube is not removing the fluid. It's all based on design.
Okay.
The NEVAP tube does this and removes nearly all of the fluid.
Are you talking about the tube that?
Yeah.
So your
On the
tube is removing all the liquid.
Yes. When you think about it, a person who has a breathing tube placed in their mouth into their airway
Yeah.
can't cough and they can't speak. And so things that come down this way, they don't even have the ability to feel. But when you get a certain amount of this fluid inside your lung, it can allow the bacteria to establish themselves in the lungs, and you cause a lot of infectious problems. This is happening in every COVID-19 patient that is significantly sick.
Oh, that's NEVAP is your company?
Yes, NEVAP stands for Never Ventilator Associated Pneumonia.
Oh, never.
Never Ventilator
Yeah.
Associated Pneumonia.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, because my mother was 5 months in a ventilator because her lungs were not pumping anymore. And then
Mhm.
my brother-in-law just recently passed of pneumonia too. So it's a very common problem uh, when you
It
get
is.
old. I
It
mean,
is.
a lot of people get pneumonia after a certain age
Yep.
because
Yep.
their
And
lungs are not pumping the liquids as efficiently.
when you look at the history, when you read about people who
Yeah,
go into the hospital, then
yeah,
they get out, and then they go back in and they're being treated for pneumonia,
yeah.
it's usually this pneumonia. I'll tell you for a fact, there were a couple of years ago, Nelson Mandela came down with this problem.
Really, really, yeah.
Yes.
When Michelle Baba went to see him, yeah.
Yeah, George Bush Sr., I can tell you, probably died of ventilator associated pneumonia. He went
Really?
into the hospital. Yeah, he went into the hospital. He's a former president of the United States, probably died of ventilator associated pneumonia. He went in. He was a, a breathing tube was placed. He came out. He had pneumonia. He went back in, and he did this until his body couldn't take it anymore, and
It
he
collapsed.
unfortunately passed away. Yeah, and the breathing tube
It's very
is
important. Yeah.
is very important, and we don't spend enough time thinking about it.
So, so you spend time training these people who are getting those tubes, and you spend time outreaching to hospitals.
Yes, yes. And now we're just trying to help as many people as possible because it's already here in the United States. I can tell you UCSF is using it, USC is using it. We have a group at Yale who is studying it too. But again, these are interesting measures that are very low risk. There is basically no additional risk of complication with this device.
Okay.
But there can
So
only be benefit.
that's good. That's good. So the 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 COVID is coming back, I heard, in Europe because the fall everybody gets a cold, right? And
Yes.
instead of getting the flu, they're getting COVID.
Yeah. They may end up getting both. These things are not mutually exclusive. Definitely not mutually exclusive. And I read today that France has seen a big spike. They have 10,000 new cases per day now.
Yeah, they have a
Um,
big spike because the weather's cooling down.
when the weather cools down, the amount of water in the air, the humidity drops. And
Okay.
as a consequence, anything that is in the air, particle or droplet, will travel further,
Oh,
much further, because if you have a water molecule and you hit it, then you'll fall to the ground. But because there's no less water in the air, wintertime we see these big increases in terms of infection rates. So that is COVID is going to act the same way as the flu, as the same way as any kind of common cold. When it gets cold and there's less water in the air, people need to be extra careful, wear a mask, and stay inside as much as possible away from other people.
uh, is it true that you have to air out and sleep with the window open to allow the virus to escape?
No, no, no. I mean, you don't want to be indoors with a lot of other people. But at the same time, remember when you open your window and you use your heater, the heater will dry out the air too.
Okay, okay, okay. No, because they showed online on LinkedIn how the virus escape if the window is open. I don't know if you saw that video.
Yeah,
But
no, but
ventilation is important though. I understand that you cannot rebreathe your own air.
yeah, yeah. Um, Mechanical ventilation is the last line of defense. You know, if you were to draw a line in the sand, then mechanical ventilation is our last line of defense, and that is where people die. People in Europe and the United States are not dying in the streets. They're not dying in waiting rooms. They're getting admitted to hospitals, and when they have problems, The last line of defense is to put them on a breathing machine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I am saying here is, if you have the better breathing tube,
It will be better for them.
you have a better line of final defense, and you can
And
decrease mortality, and then you can decrease the amount of waste and money that you spend on these patients. And it can be enormously beneficial, not only to the patient, but also to society and the hospitals and the doctors on the front lines, the nurses, the respiratory therapists, all of the people that have to care for patients and they're being overwhelmed. This is a proven way to reduce time on the ventilator, get people off the ventilator sooner, reduce antibiotics, reduce infections, and even reduce mortality.
who is the head of the government who would approve the introduction to that tube to a foreign country?
We don't know. I don't think there is one specific person.
Oh, it could be just the head of a hospital.
Right, right. Or even just a doctor who says, you know what, this makes sense to me. I want to bring it to my colleagues and show them.
And there's no red tape for that.
There is no red tape. It is CE marked and available.
Okay.
It is just,
yeah, if a doctor hear about it, he can order it without the government saying no.
Right, right.
That's the good news. I can contact maybe 10 hospitals a day, send them the demo, and they can make the decision right there.
Right, right. Absolutely.
Is that what you do all day?
Yes, but I'll be honest with you. Hospitals are not very communicative.
So they don't answer the phone.
They don't answer the phone, and if you think you can email them, you'd be surprised. They're not going to email you back.
So the communication has been hindered with COVID.
It's always been hindered. It's always been hindered this way.
I mean, anybody who is at the top of a hospital, he's not going to pick up the phone.
No, he's
because he's too important. I mean, he has many urgent care to supervise.
Yeah, that's why what we're doing is just trying to get as much people to understand the problem, understand our solution, and see it. It's not a $100,000 million purchase. It's a purchase between that's the same price as basically what they're using right now. They just have to be open to trying it. And the first time they use the device, they're going to see an enormous difference.
Really?
I have personally seen hundreds of patients use my device, and I can tell you without any doubt that if I were to be intubated today, I would demand this breathing tube in myself as a doctor.
But if it is really effective, it would be word of mouth and it will go viral.
It doesn't work that way in the medical community.
No. Is the demo you showed me on social media?
It is on LinkedIn.
It is on LinkedIn. Is it on the big social media sites?
I would consider LinkedIn the big social media site. It's not a.
It's professional.
Yeah.
Professional. The others are just social.
Yes. We hope we can reach people who are a little bit more serious. I don't know if this information is very valuable to younger folks who are not.
That's right. But Twitter is also too popular to.
I don't know a lot of doctors that have a Twitter account, to be honest.
Do you know doctors who have a YouTube account?
I know one. Do
you have one?
I don't think these social media platforms are really not designed to create.
Is this video on YouTube and Facebook?
No, it's not.
It should be on YouTube because I did see some medical discoveries on YouTube. I don't know if you agree with those, but
I think they're not very penetrating. I don't think you get a lot of views, to be honest.
Because it's not like a popular topic.
I don't see doctors having a question and saying, I got to YouTube this and figure out how to solve the problem.
No, it's just to be out there. I mean, it's just to be out there and you never know if a kid has a doctor who's a father who's a doctor, and he goes and tell his dad, look, dad, have you thought about that? Or, I mean, sometimes it goes from the bottom up, from the kid to the parent. I mean, I don't know if you have kids, but they tell you a few things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Did you get inspired to do this just on the spur of the moment? You had an inspiration, or how did it happen for you to just go all the way and do it?
So as I said earlier, I saw a 19-year-old
Yeah,
young woman give birth,
yeah,
leave the hospital, and
yeah.
come back and end up on a breathing machine. And after she passed away, and I had to talk to the family, I went digging into the medical literature, trying to figure out why this had happened. And what I found was
Mhm.
other doctors had figured out that the breathing tube was the culprit. Number one, they had figured it out beyond any doubt.
Yeah.
And then a group of Greek doctors published a paper that said the breathing tube that we're using is not working. It's getting blocked and doesn't work. And
Oh, that
so
confirmed what you thought.
so I thought, if somebody could make a better breathing tube, because we use these devices enormously. There are over 200 million people who are intubated
Oh,
every year,
oh,
regardless of COVID or whatever. If we had a better breathing tube, the impact for people and society would be enormous. It wouldn't just be that patient on the operating table or in the ICU. It would also reduce the amount of antibiotic resistance that's propagated. We need things that make our antibiotics last longer.
I know people, their full-time job is to sell medical devices. They don't just sell one, they sell many.
Yeah,
And they have like teams of salespeople. That's what you need. You need a team of people that go all over the world and do it. I mean, even though now it's
absolutely.
difficult, but maybe it's even easier now with Zoom. I don't know what's the
It's
solution to
not.
this.
It's not. It's actually much harder. The regular people can't walk into a hospital and try to talk to anybody
That's true.
now.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like even these companies with professional sales forces, they're actually not able to get into the hospitals to show or do anything.
Really? So it
Yeah,
blocks all the innovation then.
right. And it comes down to now doctors finding something, bringing it in, and trying it and using it in study.
Okay.
Um, Here in the United States, that process has broken down. We do not have leadership that can facilitate introductions of good new products and new ideas. We
Uh,
have no leadership to do that. It is
it,
literally on a hospital by hospital basis that things are used. Everybody is doing different things in terms of how they're treating, and so it is a mess.
I know the Department of Health has been cut down the past 3 years, and they laid off so many people that were key to the health of the nation. I mean, and now they regret it because they realize how many lives have been lost.
Here in the United States, we are in a dire situation. We do not have the coordination of the federal government, um, and to be honest, the science around what we are doing has been politicized in a way that it is less effective for us to spread information as doctors, because even as doctors, we're looking at the things that are coming out in the journals and coming out on CNN. And we have very big questions of whether or not these things are true and right, and should we believe them?
Oh
Um,
yeah, did you try to outreach to the big networks?
yes and yes, but we haven't had any success. But
Really?
yeah. But after this interview, I will send you the link for the newspaper articles that were done from us. We have certain groups, innovation groups, that are promoting and showing our device. About a week ago, we were featured on the NASDAQ on stock exchange, the outside tower.
Okay. How much is
So
your
we got,
stock?
excuse me?
You have stock on the Nasdaq?
No. They did it because of our humanitarian purposes. They wanted to give
Okay.
us something to advertise.
Okay, so you're not a public company.
No. We're a small private company.
Okay, okay. Yeah, you need big investors to go public, right?
Yes. And there's another problem with this is that the investment community does not like hardware. They like software. They don't like things that are regulated. They like things that are direct to consumer.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and things
so
that have a high rate of return, like you can make it for pennies and you get thousands.
not even that. They want things that are moonshots many times. Things that if it works, everybody will be very rich. But
Okay,
99% of those will be very unsuccessful. What
got
we
it.
have here is a reality. It's just not a moonshot. There's a very small chance that we will ever be a public company, just
Yeah,
plain
no,
and simple.
because what works is software. It takes nothing to sell, to produce,
Right.
and
Right.
then the rate of return up thousandfold.
Well,
So that's what investors want. They want thousandfold return.
the problem is when you measure your returns, you miss some of the other things because
Yeah, yeah. You gotta also look at the loss of life, which is also a thousandfold.
yeah, and
No,
I
I
mean you
get your
look at
point. I mean, this is in terms of human value, it's a lot more than money a return. It's like life return.
right, right, and we need to, as a society, as a people all around the world, we need to do more of investing in ourselves, in the harmony and the prosperity of our world instead of just money. Because at some point, if we don't have a world, all the money in the world is not going to make any difference.
Exactly. Like if we have bad air and we all die, what good is it to have a big bank account?
Exactly, because you're still breathing the bad air.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Right now, like 2 days ago, I was touching the top of my counter. It was full of dust. I mean, I'm breathing that too.
yep, yep.
And I had to clean all my tops, my cabinets and everything. I couldn't believe it was. I never seen anything like this before. So dust come from the fires, I assume, but we are breathing it.
Yeah.
Would you
So
advise? Would you advise an air purifier, or you don't use that?
it doesn't make very much difference.
Really?
It doesn't make any difference because if you're trying to purify the air inside your house, you're
Yeah.
moving more of the ash and you're creating more particles in the air with the air
Really? Because it ventilates?
purifier. Yeah, exactly. It
That's what
circulates
I
all
thought.
of
It circulates,
yeah.
but it just catch the particles that are dirty, right? I mean, that's what I understand. Okay.
It just catches the particles that are close to the machine.
Oh,
Every,
really?
everywhere else, it's going to circulate the air so that you have actually more particles in the air.
That's what I read somewhere. I wasn't sure. And you know, when there's a construction site, all the people around the construction site get a ventilator. I mean, a purifier,
Well, yeah, yeah,
and for free from the
yeah.
construction company, just to reassure the residents. But I don't know if it's any good.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, because I have a ventilation where I can push the button and ventilate, but I don't know. They told me it just moves the air. That's all it does. But in your case, is controlled ventilation. I mean, it's like in a tube, and you know that tube is going to catch the particles, correct?
Yes. And it's going to remove all the bacteria that would otherwise leak down into the lungs.
Will there
That's
be a wall of something like you showed me, or that will eliminate that too?
exactly, yes.
It
Yes,
will
there is.
eliminate that too,
Yeah.
the wall of dirt that accumulates.
The wall
You
of dirt
showed
that,
me the inside of the tube that was
yes,
dark, Will your tube eliminate that?
It is our hope that it does. We've seen that it does a lot of good in that space too, so
Okay.
that the tube does not become
So,
blocked.
so you test 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. What if someone is 1 week on the tube? Did you check after a week?
We've had patients that have been on this tube for up to 3 months.
And you looked inside the tube?
We don't have to, because the machine doesn't go off and tell you there's a problem.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the
So,
ventilator has alarms that will tell you whether or not there's a problem.
okay, okay. So the ventilator will control what's inside the tube?
It will tell you when there's a problem.
When there's too much accumulation inside the
Yeah.
tube?
Yes.
Okay, so it's very, very, I mean, it's, of course, for 1 day it won't show, but I assume after 3 months, something will be there. But I am not a technician. I don't know exactly. You said up to 3 months and it didn't show any signs of degeneration or anything.
Right.
Well, that's a good news, I guess. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot more to it. So there's that tube that you invented is made of a different material.
No, it's not.
It's just the pump that's sucking the dirt.
It is a physically design. It's a physical design that improves the efficacy of the breathing tube.
That absorb all the particles.
That vacuum removes the particles.
Oh, okay. That removes the particle. Oh, okay. And it's not the same concept as a purifier.
Not at all. No, not
It's
at all.
totally different. Now I'm trying to make the connection between the two to see if there's something I'm missing. So it's still different technology.
Totally different technology.
Okay. Yeah. And you invented that technology, Benjamin?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And that technology, you said, will remove the particles, the germs, the whatever else, viruses, everything, and suck it up and throw it away.
Yes.
And it goes where? In a trash can? Where does it go?
We have special medical waste.
There is a waste basket somewhere. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so technical. I'm sure not everybody would understand the mechanism.
But it's a safer breathing tube, and it can benefit.
It's called the breathing tube. Okay, and it's a better breathing tube, and it's a life-saving breathing tube. Okay, well, thanks for explaining that to me. I know it's a lot more to it than that from the medical standpoint, but we understood so far that it's something that works. And like you said, up to 3 months, like you said, let me see what happened to my image here. And then it's a tube that has a device that would make sure it doesn't get clogged up.
Yeah, and the device is readily available in the European Union.
Yeah.
French doctors can get a hold of it.
Okay.
They just have to go on the internet, find us, or find P3 Medical.
What's your website? What's your website?
Our website is www.nevap.co.
nevap.co.
CO, yes.
CO. Nevap.co. CO means it's a new idea. I mean, people have new ideas use CO. When SEO was invented, it's for startups. But so you picked the right technology. I mean, the right end for your website, and your website has your demo, I assume.
Yes, it does. And if your listeners are inclined, we're also a finalist in the MIT Solve competition. We have another video on that competition, and if they log on to the MIT Solve website and take a look at the finalists, they can find us in the pandemic and health security response group.
The MIT what website?
MIT Solve, SOLVE, the
Oh,
Solve competition.
people solve problems on that website. Okay, that's good.
It's a competition. It's a very prominent competition. There's almost $2 million in prize money. We are
Oh, okay.
one
So
of 15.
mitsolve.edu, right?
Yes,
It's a university.
yes, yes, it is.
Okay, okay. Well, I'm sure it took a lot of courage on your part to give up your practice to just concentrate on that, because you probably had patients that you had to leave behind,
Yes,
and
but
you
the,
passed,
the
but you
cause of
passed
bringing this
on,
is
yeah, but you passed
for
on your patients to another doctor, I'm sure, and now this is your life mission.
yes, it is. I want to help the people who would otherwise not be helped.
Well,
If that makes sense.
I am very touched by that. I I think it's very, very noble of you to do that.
Well, thank you,
And
thank you. These patients really deserve the best possible because they are by far the most vulnerable people we see in the hospital. The sickest, most vulnerable people are ending up in the ICU. And
yeah,
so if we
I
can do
know.
something to prove
It
that
brings
we
tears to my eyes because I remember my mom in the respirator for 5 months. So it's I know it's very, very painful for family members too. Um, anyway, it has been very eye-opening to listen to you, and um, I wanna commend you for doing that, and thank you so much for helping the world and humanity. Thank you.
okay. Thank you so much, Aileen.
I will
This
send
was
you the
fantastic.
recording, and hopefully we'll pass it around so that they will have an impact.
Great, great.
Thank you.
That's all that we ask. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.